Welcome to PsychVids. In this video, we will break down imposter syndrome. We're going to dig into that nagging feeling, that little voice in your head that says, even when you're successful, that you're just a fraud who's about to be found out.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You land the big promotion, you absolutely ace a test, you launch that project. But instead of celebrating, you feel this quiet panic. The sense that any second, someone's going to tap you on the shoulder and say, okay, we know you don't belong here. If any of that sounds familiar, you are definitely in the right place.
So let's actually put a name to this feeling, because this isn't just you being humble, and it's not just a little bit of self-doubt. It's a real, documented psychological pattern. Okay, so back in 1978, psychologists Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes gave it a name: imposter syndrome. And it's basically this internal feeling of being an intellectual phony. But here's the absolute key. It happens despite all the external proof that you're competent. You have the degrees, you have the wins, you have the successes, but your brain just writes it all off as luck or good timing, or maybe they just didn't see the real you. Now, we need to be really clear about what this is and what it isn't. Imposter syndrome is not a formal diagnosis you'd find in the big book of psychology, the DSM-5. And it's so much more specific than just having low self-esteem. It's this deep conflict where the hard evidence, the facts of your success, just can't seem to break through that internal feeling of being a fraud. And the real paradox? It almost exclusively affects high achievers. And if you feel this way, believe me, you're in very, very good company. Research shows that up to 80%, that's 4 out of 5, successful people report feeling this way at some point. Just let that sink in for a second. That feeling that you're the only one in the room who's faking it, well, ironically, it's one of the most common feelings in the room.
You know, imposter syndrome isn't this one-size-fits-all thing. A researcher, Dr. Valerie Young, actually broke it down into 5 common types, or 5 faces. So as we go through these, see if you recognize yourself in any of them.
First up, the perfectionist. Do you obsess over one tiny mistake and completely ignore everything you did right? That's you. Or maybe you're the natural genius who feels like a total phony if you don't master a skill on the very first try. Then there's the soloist who thinks asking for help is the ultimate sign of weakness. We've also got the expert who feels like a fraud if they don't know every single thing about a subject. And finally, the superhuman who tries to be amazing at everything: parent, partner, professional, and if one ball drops, they feel like a total failure. Just seeing your pattern is a huge first step.
So you might be wondering, where does this faulty internal wiring even come from? Well, it's usually a cocktail of our personal history and the world around us. A lot of it can start in childhood. Maybe you were always called the smart one, so now you feel this crushing pressure to be perfect all the time. Societal stuff plays a huge role too. If you're the first in your family to go to college, or a woman in tech, not seeing a lot of people who look like you can make you feel like you just don't belong. And then there's the big one, the modern-day engine of self-doubt, the comparison trap. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? We scroll through social media, we look around the office, and all we see are people's polished, finished products, their wins, their promotions, their highlight reel. But at the same time, we are painfully aware of our own messy process, our struggles, our doubts, our behind-the-scenes footage. That mismatch creates this completely warped reality where it feels like everyone else has it figured out, except for us. Okay, so we've defined it, we've looked at where it comes from. Now for the most important part, the toolkit. How do you actually fight back and start to dismantle that imposter voice in your head? All right, here's a super powerful tool you can use right now. The next time that imposter thought pops into your head, like, I only got this job because I got lucky, don't just let it hang out. Challenge it. Grab a piece of paper and make 3 columns. In the first one, write down the imposter thought. In the second, be a detective. Write down every single piece of evidence that proves it wrong. And in the third column, you write a new, more realistic thought based on the facts. You're literally retraining your brain to listen to evidence, not just fear. This one is so simple, but it's a total game changer. The imposter voice loves to speak in absolutes. I can't do this. I don't know how. Just by adding one tiny word, yet, you change everything. I don't know how to do this, yet. It transforms a dead end into a runway. It reframes a challenge as a temporary state, not a permanent fact about you. And here are 3 more quick-fire strategies. First, name the voice. Give your inner critic a silly name, like Gremlin Gary. It sounds funny, but when you externalize it, you realize it's not you, it's just a thought. Second, share the secret. Imposter syndrome loves it when you feel alone. Talk to a friend or a mentor.
I promise you 9 times out of 10, they'll say, oh my God, me too. And finally, and this is a big one, act anyway. Don't wait to feel confident. Confidence doesn't come first. You take action, you build competence, and that's where real confidence comes from. And that's really what this all boils down to. You don't cure imposter syndrome. It's a thought pattern you learn to recognize and manage. Honestly, feeling it might just be a sign that you're pushing yourself, that you're growing. The goal isn't to never feel doubt again. The goal is to stop letting that doubt be the one holding the pen and writing your story. You have the power to change the narrative. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode.